about the movie that I'm not there the chance of not looking at Slim, and pretty much what I'm going to do is answer three questions about this movie. One would be, how does it compare to you would have to say that Eclipse to the three the acting and direction. The fact I'm more convincing it's Slade, the 30 days in and kind of knows what he's doing with material up to this point. And it's a pretty good of characters with the universe. Flushes out Colin and Taylor actor a little more well-rounded Paul. To the next, still only a Twilight fan. Unfortunately, a little better job of not alienating all the guys who are being dragged as wives and girlfriends. But, you know, it really heavily emphasizes the romance. It knows the audience. It knows being acquired. It knows that people might see it. Read the books all the time. You know, they're having so a lot of point. Overarching about the vampires like that doesn't really do that or do it those sort of. The third question is, how are the actors? We haven't really had a chance to see Chris Stewart or Lauder. Not good material. Here a little bit like I alluded to earlier. You know, style behind the movie, you know, happened before, and you know, playing the rival Lars character. A couple moments where they're completely human, you know, Jacob the werewolf and Edward the vampire. There's a couple of little points of vulnerability, a couple of good things together. You know what? Doesn't really whether you can handle more material, better material, real heavily material. I can't recommend it. It's not good of a movie. I've been comparing it to the position. So, you know who you are, you're going to go with this. I want to see it again. Check out our review. People have a review on We'll talk about the